Since we humans became aware enough to start thinking about stuff, we've been wondering, why are we here? And then some of us take it a step further and ask, why is the universe here? Why does anything at all exist? We throw around terms like random and coincidence. But the truth is that there's nothing random or accidental about the fact that you're here right now watching this video. There's no such thing as an unplanned event. Everything happens in accordance with laws that govern our existence, from the subatomic to the galactic. But why do these laws exist in the first place? And why do they seem so perfectly suited to our needs? So today, let's ponder one of humanity's greatest existential questions. Does the universe have a purpose? And while there's no single answer that will satisfy everyone, we'll look at some of the possibilities. It's me, and this is our channel. We'll start where many great philosophical discussions have started before. With a beer and a chat, in the tavern, the topic turns to the mysteries of existence, and the men ponder the idea that our universe might not be all there is. Maybe we're really just a figment of some other creature's imagination. A butterfly flapping its wings somewhere else causes a tornado over here. A tiny change in the Big Bang changes everything. They drink deeply, considering the implications. But wait, someone says, before we get too carried away with parallel universes, we need to explain how we got this one. How did everything begin? Well, according to the prevailing scientific theory, our universe began with the Big Bang, a hot, dense singularity containing all the matter, and energy that would eventually become stars and galaxies, and people, and puppies, and well, you get the idea. Now, the funny thing is, for the Big Bang to happen in the first place, a whole lot of things had to go right. For example, the ratio between the forces of gravity and the other fundamental forces of nature has to be just right. If gravity were slightly stronger, stars wouldn't form because the hydrogen gas clouds would collapse too quickly into massive, dead stars. If it were weaker, stars would never ignite. Likewise, the strength of electromagnetism and nuclear forces must also be just right. Otherwise, protons and neutrons couldn't hold together to make atomic nuclei. And these aren't the only instances of fine. Consider this. On average, every second, 40 trillion people die on Earth. That means there are roughly 13 billion fewer people than would be expected based on the growth rate alone. Did any of you miss your dinner last night? Maybe you should thank whatever force is responsible for making sure that you get hungry again tomorrow. That's because it turned out just right for life to exist. Some scientists say that such exact tuning can't be random. And if it wasn't random, maybe there was a reason behind it. Maybe there was a purpose. This line of thought leads us to the next possible answer to our question. Intelligence. Sure, some animals can communicate and even plan ahead, but we humans are the only species we know that asks questions like, why are we here? And what is the point of this? Maybe we are here to ask these questions. Maybe we are the universe becoming aware of itself. Imagine that. The universe has existed for billions of years in a state of nothing. Then suddenly, through some remarkable series of events, self-awareness arises. And then after that, there's an explosion of curiosity and creativity. We make art and music and books and movies and theories about the fundamental nature of reality. Maybe the purpose of the universe is to express itself, to experience itself. Maybe intelligence and consciousness are the point of the universe. But this brings up another question. If the universe is purposeful, why did it take so long for intelligence to evolve? Wouldn't it have happened sooner? But more importantly, intelligence isn't the only way to measure purpose. So what about the parts of the universe that are not intelligent? Do they also have a purpose? It's time for another beer and a chat at the tavern. This time, the discussion turns to religion. One man talks about his faith in a higher power who imbued each person with a soul, which gives their life purpose. Another mentions her belief in an afterlife, a reward for those who lived virtuously and served the divine. Yet another speaks a prophecy of a chosen people destined for greatness. They sip their drinks and contemplate the scriptures that guided them to their beliefs. These spiritual texts often speak of a grand plan laid out by a deity. This plan may include the creation of the universe for the explicit purpose of serving the deity, or providing a home for souls to develop and learn lessons. But this raises another question. If we were created for a purpose, how did that purpose get into us? And if it was put there by a creator, what is the purpose of the creator? But outside in the parking lot, two men are having a different kind of discussion. Both wear backpacks emblazoned with the logo of a university. One leans against his car, arms crossed. The other paces back and forth. I don't buy it. The first one says, you can't talk about multiverses without talking about infinite universes. Exactly, says the other. The multiverse makes sense when you consider quantum mechanics. You know, Schrodinger's cat and all that. That doesn't mean anything. The first one says, look, either we're here or we're not. If we're not, then there's no such thing as here. So the question doesn't make any sense. Well, I think you're missing the point. The other says, if there are infinite universes, each one might have different laws. In some, the chemical composition of water is different. In others, gravity works differently. So life, as we know it, couldn't evolve. Okay, let's assume that's true. The first one says, so what? If there are universes where life couldn't evolve, then our universe is special. It's the only one where it actually happened. You said it yourself. The first guy says, if we're not here, then there's no such thing as here. I guess that settles that. The other says, this argument illustrates one of the potential pitfalls of the multiverse theory. If everything is possible, nothing is special. If everything has a purpose, nothing has a purpose. Of course, many scientists remain convinced that we live in a simulation, a reality coded into existence by some advanced technology. This line of thought has been around since ancient times. Plato wrote of the allegory of the cave, a group of prisoners who mistake the shadows cast on a cave wall for reality. We may be like those prisoners mistaking the simulation for the real world. But if we were programmed into existence, that raises another question. Who's the programmer, and what's the purpose? For some, the purpose of life reveals itself through acts of kindness and love and creation. After all, life isn't easy. It comes with pain, suffering, loss, and grief. Despite that, we find joy in helping others, in expressing our creativity, and in experiencing the beauty of the world around us. To some, these experiences are the purpose of life. But for others, this is a circular argument. It says that life has meaning because we ascribe meaning to it. It doesn't explain why we have to create our own meaning. Maybe we won't find the answer to this question in our lifetimes. Maybe the universe doesn't have a purpose. Maybe we just want it to. And here's why. When we try to understand the physical universe, we run into a problem. As of right now, we only understand about 5% of what the universe is made of. About 25% is made of normal matter, the stuff we interact with every day. Another 68% is dark matter, an invisible substance that makes up most of the mass in the universe. But the weirdest part, we can't see it or interact with it in any way. Scientists can only infer the existence of dark matter by observing its gravitational effects on visible matter. But that's not all. Dark energy seems to be accelerating the expansion of the universe. Put together, dark matter and dark energy account for 95% of the universe. And as you probably guessed, we have no idea what they're made of or how they work. So for the moment, the answer to the question of the universe's purpose remains elusive. But as we learn more about the universe, perhaps we'll find the answers we're looking for. Or maybe, just maybe, the question is the answer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos.